Guys, I'm depressed. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Because because of Squid Game. It makes me so sad. Guys, this show gave me depression. It's bad, it's bad. What is up, Shazzy Gang? What is up, everybody? It's your boy Shazzy, and welcome back to another video, Shazzy Gang. Yeah, how is everybody doing? I'm doing all right. If you're new to this channel and you're clicking on me for the very first time, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn that post notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, with that being said, let's get straight into today's content. Let's go, everybody. You guys already say I messed up my intro. But it's okay. That's what happens when you take such long periods of time between videos. These are things I need to keep practicing because they get out of your head. But it's totally fine. How are you all doing, by the way, in whatever part of the world you're in? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Annyeonghaseyo. Are you pego pao pegolong? Anyway, let me stop before the Asian community comes for me or anyone comes for me saying that you're being racist or something. I'll stop. So as you guys can tell by the title of today's video, today I'm going to be doing some predictions for the show Squid Game. Okay, this is unsurprising. Everybody's talking about this show. It's huge. It's currently the biggest show in the world. If you've been living under a rock, I will summarize the show for you, but you should watch it if you haven't watched it. It's an amazing show, but I understand if it's not for you. You can't make things that will satisfy everybody, but I love the show. It's really cool. And instead of like reviewing the show or anything like that, because there's so many reviews of the show anyway, I was like, let me just give my predictions for the second season, of which we don't know if there'll be a season two. I'm pretty sure there will be. I mean, the show like broke records. I mean, it only came out in September. September 17th is when it came out. I only found out about the show last month, like earlier last month. And within that first month, those first 4 weeks, the show like 142 million people watched the show in its first month, or households, because some people share accounts, right? Surpassing Bridgerton last year, which was huge, especially during the pandemic. A lot of people are watching it. Which had about like 82 million or so people who had watched within the first month or something. So Squid Game is huge. And I think it's quite beautiful that a show like this, a foreign language show, is so big across the world, because it's just a further reminder that the human connection transcends languages, any culture, any race, geography, etc. Like, all you need is to just watch and you can empathize with anyone, even if I don't understand what you're saying, even if you don't look like me or in the same class or whatever. Like, I could relate to you, and trust me, the show depressed me. Like, I was going through it. There were some funny moments, but mostly dramatic. It would keep you on edge, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. At first I was skeptical about it because I don't really watch a lot of foreign language films or things like that, but I was like, well, a lot of people are talking about it, and one of my cousins liked this, so I was like, why not? So, but anyways, I'm going on a tangent. Let's get into the predictions. So before I get into the predictions, let me just quickly summarize the show and what happened. So, a disclaimer, there are gonna be spoilers. So if you have not watched Squid Game, please don't watch this video. First, go watch the whole show. Binge watch it. It's on Netflix or whatever other illegal sites you watch your shows on. Watch it, binge watch it. It's just 9 episodes, guys. You'll get through it. You'll be fine. You'll love it. Trust me. It's not. You won't be disappointed. And then come back here and then watch my video. Okay, and share it. So that, yeah. Okay, so Squid Game is basically about a man. It's a South Korean show, set in Seoul, South Korea, the capital. And it's about this man in his like 30s, 40s. His name is Sung Gyun. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of the names. And he's this like divorced, chauffeur. He's basically a bum pretty much, who stays with his elderly mother, and all he does is just drink, smokes, gambles all day. Pretty much, he doesn't really contribute much to society. He's just there, and he's just living his best carefree life, I guess. So he also has a 10-year-old daughter. And on the day of her birthday, he gambles, gets some money that he wanted to use to get as a present, ends up losing the money, all of that stuff. But pretty much what happens is that I'm going to skip a lot of stuff to summarize. Pretty much what happens is that he finds out that his daughter is going to move away to America with her mother, his ex-wife, and the stepfather and the little brother, um, who I guess is the stepfather's son, and they're gonna move to the States. And so the only way the daughter can stay in Korea is if he gains gains custody of the daughter, like half custody at least. And the only way he can do that is if he has money, is if he's financially stable, and he's not because he's depending on his elderly mother who takes care of everything. So there's that. Plus, he also has some creditors that are after him. This gang, these bunch of people who threaten to physically harm him, take out his organs, and pretty much kill him if he doesn't pay them the money that they owe. And so they give him like a month or some period of time. And so with these two things compounded on top of each other, and him not being able to borrow any money from his best friend who he hangs out with, and all of that stuff, he, ends up joining Squid Game. But how he joins it is there's this random salesman who he stumbles across at the subway at the train station, and this man gives him a card after they play this game where you throw something down and you have to flip it. And so after getting slapped so many times, Song finally wins the game, and then he's given an invitation to play in the Squid Game. Of course, he had won a bit of money at that point, but the man was like, "Wouldn't you want to play in a competition where you could actually win like millions, if not like billions more money?" And so Song takes the card. Initially, of course, he's skeptical about it because normally game shows and lottery stuff like that are popular, but he isn't aware of this. It sounds sketchy, but he eventually agrees to it. He joins the Squid Game, which is basically a competition, a private competition that no one really knows about because it's sketchy as F, and it's held on some private island off the mainland of South Korea. And pretty much it's where the contestants, who are 456 of them, who all wear these, teal tracksuits, and they all have different numbers, basically participate in kids' games. But these kids' games seem really hard because there's the pressure of the fact that they are timed, and also if you're eliminated from these games, if you lose, you die. And that's something that was not read. That's something they weren't told. And so after the first game of red light, green light, the majority of them consent to leaving the game because it's just crazy. And so, but they eventually come back, because they realize that their life on the outside was not worth it. It's worse than on the inside. Like for a lot of them, it was totally worth it to go back. So a few don't return, but most of them do return, those that had survived. Because I think after red light, green light, about 100 or 200 of them like died, like were shot. So the first game is red light, green light. The second game was the Dalgona cookie sweet honeycomb challenge. So yeah, these cookies, like these cookies that are made from like you burn sugar and you mix it with baking soda, I believe. And it's like they were like 3, 4 shapes. So it was a triangle and an umbrella, a star. And you pretty much have to like cut out the shape perfectly without breaking it or anything, so that you get through to the next challenge. And so the prize money is like $45 billion or something like that in Korean won, which is like millions of US dollars. And so the stakes are high, and everyone in there has some sort of debt or some sort of reason, of course, to want this money. For example, there's a girl named Kam Se Byuk, who's my favorite character in the show. I love her. It's so sad she didn't survive. But she's a North Korean girl who escaped to South Korea with a little brother, and their reason is they're trying to get their mom there and build a house and stuff like that. For other people, it's dead, like Song's, childhood friend. Sang-woo's also in there. The police are after him. So people are in there for different reasons, which are all related. And so, yeah, so the first game, red light, green light. The second game was the cookie challenge. We have to cut them out. The third game was tug of war, I believe. Um, then The fourth game was the marble game. So this is where they're in like some weird village, like neighborhood setting, and pretty much you're split into pairs, and you get 10 marbles each, and whoever manages to get all the marbles of the opponent of the other person, they win. You make up the game on your own. The fifth game was this crossing bridge where you cross a bridge made of glass, and so there's tempered glass and there's normal glass, and you have to figure out which one is the tempered one, because if you step on that, you fall to the ground and you die. And then the last game was the actual Squid Game, which is a childhood game where it's made up of, there's a circle at the top with the triangle at the representing the squid's head. There's a square, and you have to hop it. Basically, yeah. So pretty much in the end, Song wins, the main character. The ones that survived at the end, it was three of them after the first 5 games. It was Song, and then it was the young girl, the North Korean girl, Kang Se Byuk, and Cho Sang Woo. So they were the three survivors. Sang Woo killed um, Kang Se Byuk because he thought that her and Song would connive to stop the game, but it's like you've gone through all of that shit with all those people dying and crazy stuff. Why would you stop it there, honestly? And so Song ends up winning. He wanted to win the game with someone, just ended there, but Song shot himself. And so that's, yeah, and so pretty much it then ends off with, Song finds out that Oh Il Nam, the old man in the show, was the one who was behind everything, and the show dates back to, sorry, the competition Squid Game dates back to 1988, and that there are other games which are similar around the world, but the Korean one happens to be the best based off of the investors who had come to visit, the VIPs who had come to watch the games. Um, yeah, and what else? And so basically, in the very end, when Song gets out, he finds out his mother collapsed and she died in his absence. His daughter had already moved away to the States. He was very depressed for a year, but then he decides to fulfill his promise to the girl, the North Korean girl, Saebyuk, and he takes the brother out of the orphanage, hands it, gives the child to Samwoo's mother, and he leaves them both with money to help take care of them because they made a promise to take care of them both. So I thought that was really sweet. And then he goes off. It ends off with him literally about to board the flight to LA to go to America to see his daughter, and he's on the phone with his daughter. But then he thinks about the fact that just before he had seen that salesman giving a card to someone, and he convinces that person, don't enter this game. And so he calls them and he's like, I'm gonna enter the Squid Game and all that. And so he doesn't board the flight. He then walks back, and that's how it ends, with the red hair. So that's pretty much what happens. There's obviously a lot more, so you'd have to watch the show to see. If I go more into it, this video will be too long, and I don't want to do that. And so, the predictions that I have for season 2. So basically, the director Wang Dong-yuk, who is the writer and director of the show, wasn't actually intending on making a second season to begin with. He actually was thinking of making the show a limited series, but because of the popularity of the show, which was probably unprecedented for him, he probably didn't predict it was going to be this big. Even in interviews, I've been watching the interviews, the actors, they said that Squid Game was quite popular in Korea. Some people recognize them and stuff, but they didn't anticipate that it would become the global phenomenon it became. So clearly, I don't think anyone was ever thinking the show was gonna go beyond what it was. So he said that so many people are enthusiastic, so he's contemplating about making a second season. In an interview with Times Magazine, Huang said second season will likely focus on the frontman. Um, yeah, whose brother was the detective, all that. Yeah, frontman as well as relationship with his brother, who he ended up killing, was the police detective. Yeah, Wang Jun-ho. The director wanted to raise the issue of police not acting fast on things and people end up dying. That was very much intentional. He also says he wants to explore the background of the salesman character Gong Yu. Oh, sorry, that's his real name in real life, but yeah, of the salesman character. And director says he wants to make a film first before he films the second season of Squid Game. And he also is trying to secure a contract with Netflix to film other movies and possible shows, so that he's not just known for Squid Game, which is, it's kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. is simply known most, for Iron Man, or how, Daniel Radcliffe is only known for like Harry Potter and the other things. So I totally get that. So let's get into the predictions. So my first prediction is that season two will pick up from the pretty much the last scene of season one. I think we'll see pretty much throughout the second season Song trying to infiltrate the system and change it. Um, but I think it's not gonna be as easy. It's yeah, it's easier said than done. There are going to be issues, but definitely the second season is probably going to be him trying to work with other teammates in there. Who knows? Maybe he won't actually participate in the games, but maybe he'll just enter his way through, then find a way to get to the control rooms or get to the game master and try to convince him, or maybe he'll enter the game purposely with like a cop or something so they can do it together. I don't know, but he's gonna do something. My other prediction is that the Squid Game staff are actually former players who may not have won but survived, or who may have won and are probably were inducted as players. I don't know. It's just a theory that I have, because I'm like, this whole being a staff member is all about like anonymity is so important. So I just have the suspicion that the Squid Game staff are like, some of them may have been former players or relatives of former players or something. And like, or maybe it was one of those things where like, obviously for the show, for this competition to have gone on so many years without them being busted, clearly they'll do something. So I don't know. We'll see. Other predictions I have are that the season two will have lots of flashbacks, and there's possible returns of characters we thought died were actually alive. I mean, if Il Lam, the old man, was able to come back, then I wouldn't be surprised if other characters come back. Who knows? I mean, I would love for the North Korean girl to come back. I'm still hurt. It's heartbreaking the way she died. I did not want her to die. It's so not fair. She's the one who deserved to win out of all of them, in my humble opinion. But, oh well. Yeah, and then also, I think Song might also become the new game master. I think that he um, might, somehow, while trying to break down the whole system, maybe somehow he'll kill the current game master and he'll become the new game master and run things, or pretend like he's running things, but do it in such a way to break shit down. It's kind of one of those things that it's like, if you can't beat him, join him type of things. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. We'll see what information in due time. But one thing I do predict as well is that it's season two won't come out for a while, because even Wang, the director, said that making the show the first time around took a toll on him. It was a lot writing the show on his own, directing it on his own. So he's definitely gonna take his time with this one. He has other things cooking up. But it'll be worth it. Millions of people around the world are ready to watch another season, so I can't wait. And with how good the show is, I'm actually interested in watching other Korean shows on Netflix. Like, saw the song called Alice in Wonderland and all that. So I'm pretty much interested, and I'm excited to see what comes in the future. Let me guys know what you thought about Squid Game. Did you watch the show? Did you like it? Not like it? Tell me what your predictions for season two are. Love you guys so much. Stay tuned for the next video, and I am out, Shazvi Game.